Hi, this is Little Dwarf playing games while rambling incoherently into a microphone. Why? Well, just because I can. And they continue with Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, blind. Now, last time I met Hope, who's a Malkavian, and supposedly, seemingly, she's running some kind of an online show, which has something to do with torture, but what exactly, I guess it remains to be seen in just a while. And she asked me to moderate her chat, so let's see how I do. She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before and urges you to sit down. The explanation of the moderator functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. Okay. 5 minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It is a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? You pick at the chat. We are not worthy. Fucking A. Angel. Hell yeah, time to fuck. Wait, which one am I even interacting with? It says ignore or kick or ban, but there are a couple users talking. To be honest, it seems like just like a normal chat. No, they are talking random bullshit, but it's nothing particularly, offensive or particularly annoying. It's not like they're flooding the chat with a random string of letters. So let's just ignore them for now. You're tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously you won't punish someone for a little dirty talk. Thank you. Today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Portals Collector. LMAO. Who? I'm sorry for sentencing you to death earlier, says Bastardo. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual, or maybe they and Hope came up with one specifically for you, who knows? You decide to stay silent. Eventually people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show. Alright, let's start this one with a bang, shall we? It begins. Queen. Oh boy, she's going to do it. So, this is where the strip show starts. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. Well, to be honest, it seemed from the array of tools that she's going to torture herself, because, as I said last time, you could do it quite effectively as a vampire because all of the physical sensations are dulled. You don't feel pain the way a human does, and I imagine, as fucked up as it is, there would be a huge audience for people, people tuning in to watch, for example, someone get mutilated or something, or like someone cut themselves. And obviously then after the show she can use the vampiric blood to heal. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Oh, I guess she did say that the risk of breaking the masquerade is high. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to the sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see and then bites it. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying, gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is sure. No ordinary human could cause such damage. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you would expect a geyser of blood to appear, but it doesn't. Hope is technically a corpse, so it's impossible. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing the vitae all over her hands, to maximize the impact of the violent image. Then she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model is stunning. Once she is done, she reveals her wrist to the audience, to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. So I guess she goes all out with the whole breaking the masquerade. Shortly after, the wound is gone. It's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it. Here's an appetizer. First blood to kick off the show. While you're wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your bewildered face and turns into your direction. How is that for an opening? Yeah, you're shooting snuff. Come on, just because it's transgressive violence doesn't mean it's snuff. A brief moment of awkward silence. Besides, if I was shooting snuff, I wouldn't mend the wound. If you expected a strip show, yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live-streamed digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course. You peek at the chat, they are going wild. She did that for free. I'd love to lick your wrist clean, my fallen angel. Hahaha, yes. Nothing more arousing than a beautiful woman teetering on the edge of oblivion, a rose petal dancing in the eye of a violent hurricane. But eroticism is not the key here, it's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotapes of beautiful women committing gory harakiri. Those are an inspiration. She bares her fangs again in a devious grin. But I've got no interest in auto-destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending wounds is just one of those powers. The people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry, the only things that the audience can see and hear are those that I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you? High risk of violating the masquerade. What a joke, she's blatantly breaking it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, you turn your attention to the screen. Muy guapa? I have no idea what that means. Alright, I'm feeling generous today. Have you planned your next tattoo yet? I'll pay for the next attraction. Looking like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. Thirst victim, just letting you know you're based. I know. Masaki-sama writes a random string of letters. So I guess it's referring to the last one, right? This is literally Flood, so let's kick him for now. If he repeats it, then I'm going to ban him. Yeah, you give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. A few seconds later, Hope groans loudly. What the hell did you kick Matsukis for? It's normal for people to show their excitement like this from time to time. Oh, is it really? Like, it wasn't even coherent? It wasn't like he was writing something that was actual words. It was literally a random string of letters. Maybe he'll interpret it as his queen hurting him and be grateful, but stop messing up. Oh well. A special message appears on the chat log, claiming that someone has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see. Drink up, drink up, drink up. Okay. Hope pours all of the contents of the bag into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood. But wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, it pays well enough. You don't even bother to tell her it's not what you are thinking about. Safe to assume she knows. So, what do you know about Kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything? While she is waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a conversation. Is there a vampire internet? Huh. If you find something that looks like vampire internet, stay away. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks and everything. She's still working on the phone in one hand, while looking for something under the bed with the other. How many things can she concentrate on at one time exactly? Then one day the NSA got in. Turns out our elders never really got the hang of proper security practices, or the sigils they used to smear on their screen didn't exactly work as advertised. Then, of course, all of the other three-lettered intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the new perfect enemies for our post-9/11 times. This Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of it? A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remnants of the old network serve as government honeypots kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post a certain keyword on Twitter or Facebook and you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns and you'll get tagged for investigation. So there is a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities. She stretches on the bed. I hope you are still monitoring the chat? Of course not. You're not as good at dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent messages. Oh, is she talking to somebody? Can't wait for the real thing to start. This two monitor setup rules. Call of Duty on one screen, Drop Dead Hotness on the second. The only woman I don't hate. Hope, more like my favorite hoe. Okay, Hope has crabs and gonorrhea. Am I supposed to... Like, surely she can't get mad for... Like, she literally chastised me for kicking a guy for sending a message that had no coherent sense whatsoever. So, is she really going to get mad for me not kicking a guy just because he insulted her once? Ah, sure, screw it, let's kick it. You give the guy a kick. Get yourself a normal name, douchebag. After 10 seconds, he comes back with the same handle. Time for a decision. Ignore or a ban. To be honest, I don't think... Like, after her initial reaction to me kicking that guy who was literally flooding the chat with incoherent bullshit, I don't think banning this one is a good response. But maybe she's vain. Maybe she will appreciate it. Sure, let's ban him and see what happens. This kind of a name only suggests trouble. You get rid of them permanently. Good job. Oh, apparently she does. She's keeping close tabs on you. Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to the Camarilla that their network got compromised, the elders went batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who used social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. But if you weren't careful, even the most innocent web usage would result in being punished with the final death. Thanks to the user Dick Steele, the next goal has just been successfully funded. Let's go! Vanishing act, dehumanize yourself and face to bloodshed. She raises her hand, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers, 1 finger. The countdown ends and she immediately disappears from the screen like a ghost. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates that there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, you swear you can make out some unusual glitching where the silhouette used to be, but it could very well just be placebo. You ready for this? 3, 2, 1. A flash on the camera. The instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking out her tongue in a provocative manner. The chatroom explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy everyone here is for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? You realize you're way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Those were some wild times, especially in New York. While most of them had no clue as to our real nature, a lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as a national threat. And since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here, looking for an easy PR victory. The last SA raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one, stirred up a hornet's nest, something fierce. But although it's 2019, NYC is ruled by someone who got embraced before World War II, and the cam as a whole really got spooked and swore off the internet. Of course, they are not dumb and understand that you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a grey zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon, but let the one without sin cast the first stone. The SI is a real threat, no joke, but in many scenes, the darkest place is right under the candle. You take another look at the screen. You want blood? What about some of the bad stuff? Can you do the bad stuff? Can you show us next time? It's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up. Okay, it's the flooding guy. Let's ignore him now. Apparently she doesn't care. The guy seems to be having a time of his life. Good on you, buddy. You're just going to let this guy shit up the chat? Come on, it's your job to react to spam. Make up your mind already. Last time I did exactly that and you got angry. She lets out a dejected sigh and kicks the guy from the chatroom herself. Can't imagine she's too satisfied with how you handled the situation. The show goes on. Okay, she's clearly, like, there hasn't been any obvious signs of her being insane, but she's clearly at the very least, her behavior is annoying to me. That's for sure. I'm not sure if that's what the game developers intended, but she's clearly not consistent in her own sort of set of rules. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. Wait, can they really pee? Like, I imagine they would also pee blood, which first of all is kind of pointless because you would want to preserve blood, not to waste it. But then I didn't even know it was possible. But then again, I guess it isn't that weird because, as I said, before, vampire blood responds to their commands. Like, it isn't really pumped by their hearts anymore, it's pumped by their will. Like they will it to go to a particular part of their body. So presumably they could also pee if they really wanted, although again I don't see any purpose in that. It's something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14, so romantic, and it drives them crazy. As a proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for. Ah, an angel that fell down from heaven. Fell down from heaven. OMG, she did it again. Beautiful. Hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. Fuckman says, can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cruise by the border and suck the blood out of any illegal they found? The very thought gives me the biggest boner. Okay, to be honest, it doesn't seem the most relevant to the whole purpose of the chat room. I guess let's just kick him for now, because he's getting kind of political, and I feel like that's not what the people are here for at all. And kicked. Just to be clear, you realize that what we're doing here is a blatant breach of the masquerade, right? I honestly expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you? You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on screen. Okay, I feel like the game is kind of playing with me, because at first I kicked him and she got angry, then I didn't kick him and she got angry again, because I adjusted my behavior, according to her own previous reaction, and she then changed the reaction. So I kind of expect the same thing to happen again. So logically, I should just kick him, right? This time, adjusting for my previous mistake of not kicking him. So, like, it is pretty annoying, don't get me wrong, but I feel like it might be some kind of a game she's playing with me. So I think I'm going to just ignore him. The guy seems to be having a time of his life. Good on you. It's your job to react to spam. Okay, she already said that, and I'm kind of disappointed that because it isn't, like, maybe she allows a little bit of flood, but to be honest, what's the difference? Like, it isn't really even any coherent sentence. What is the difference between, like, 10 lines of random letters and like 15 lines of random letters? Come on. She lets out a dejected sigh and bans the guy herself. Can't imagine she's too satisfied with the way you handled the situation. In any case, the last goal has just been funded. It's time for the great finale. It's what you've all been waiting for, right? Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed, as her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers. You wanted blood? Come into the streets. Claw out your neighbors' throats, slash their veins and drink it up. Yes, Queen. Yes, Queen. JFK view. Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they are possessed. Okay, but wait a second. It was clearly established that presence, the vampiric disciplines don't work online, because I tried this specifically myself. It didn't work, and also then she herself has made fun of me for doing it. So how is she doing it right now? Like, there's obviously something fishy going on. Liberate yourselves from the shackles of the ordinary mortality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. What the hell is she doing to those people? What have you gotten yourself into? Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world. She jerks violently for a second and then falls down on a bed like a marionette that just had its strings severed. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again. Alright, that's enough. Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. The stream ends and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet. Let me take over. The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you. At Vulgar, what the fuck just happened? Guess the show is over. Everyone relax and go home. I was almost ready to come, bros. Wait, why is she... So, is she all of those people? Like, but how is she even doing that? It seems technically impossible to have so many alt accounts and to write all of those inane bullshit messages at the same time while also streaming yourself, because it displays her as the speaker, right? But there are different usernames, and I guess it would also explain, first of all, how she seemingly affected the chat with presence, because it's just her. She basically affected herself. She pumped herself up. And that's why the behavior online changed, because it's all her. And also it would explain why she hasn't got caught yet, right? Because something like that, she's very blatantly breaking the masquerade, and obviously I'm pretty sure either the Second Inquisition or just someone from the Camarilla would have gotten a word of it long before. So I guess it might just all be her, but still I find it technically complicated to accomplish with so many alt accounts and typing all at once. Hostage, I swear on my father's grave. One day I will find you and kick the ever-loving shit out of you. After every line she delivers, she changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. Yeah, so it is all her. You caught glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have you started to figure it out. Yeah, I do feel that it's impossible. Like, from a simply technical standpoint? That's impossible. I'm immortal, I'm bored, I'm separated from most vampires in the city by a generational chasm, and I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. Infodump delivery service apparently is her handle right now. Years ago, I started researching topos, collective unconsciousness, all the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality, and I decided to experiment. The show was fake. A few years later, I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of the pop culture commentariat, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. All of my internet sleeves started signal boosting each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire surrounded by legions of psycho-fans. The chat was fake. Some might think of it as a dissociative identity disorder. Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier, but that's bullshit. Everyone has an online alter ego they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. Her constant tapping at the phone, even during the show, somehow she's capable of impersonating an entire chatroom. Yeah, I find it implausible. I don't even have a self that could dissociate or be mentally ill. I am a host, a living database. I live because I find it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy. There was no masquerade violation. She was just showing off her skills the entire time. She put you into a world of pure fiction, the same way she was testing you back when she attacked you from the back. Damn, she's good at this. Of course, you can't just ignore what I'm saying and you can't just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian. But hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. Android of Notre Dame. If there ever was an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it is this one. Although for now, because of the masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? Do I? I don't know. Sure, why not? I have a hunch you're just saying that. Still, hey, in a way, this too is transcending beyond self. But yeah, your test is over now. Now the question is, do I want to work with you? She puts away her phone for the first time since you've met her and gives you a good hard look. Guess I can give it a shot, yeah. You're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kind of cute. Don't worry, no more modding jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news. She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of her room. I've put you through enough shit. Next time, I'll let you on a little job I'm doing. We'll hit the streets and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. She leads you through a labyrinth of grey corridors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through in. An unconscious diagram of psychic events. This city is so much more than what the elite considers it real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to the places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. She leads you out of the building in the back alleys. Shitty trailer voice. Even if someone else rules the streets, we rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. I guess I'm supposed to read it in one of those deep trailer voices, but I can't really do it. She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she leaves you alone. But you assume everything went as well as it could. A new ally, the power of hope. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago. Okay, do I have time for anything else? Nope. Need to rest. And not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. Hey, I came to pick you up. Miss Langley wants to see you. Do you know what she needs me for? Any idea what she needs me for? I'm not in the position to ask. He smiles politely. The car's waiting, shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts you did a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave, disappear, let Sophie find someone else to employ. But then you remember the Anarch thug being cut down by Kadir, and how close you were to that same fate not even a week ago, and that it still might happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked into one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant, warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. A driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a few good nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Matt. Thank you for coming. The change in the mood of the room is so sudden and startling that it makes you consider the true power of the vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know that you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing a legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find someone for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive laying at the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. So I guess it's this statue. The man you will be looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They are encrypted, a precaution if the data falls into the wrong hands. But it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that just a handful of nights ago would make you feel like melting. Oh, and Matt, Kaiser is a Nosferatu. One of those twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I have gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much shorter. Why do you need to trade with him? Can't you just request the information, given your connections? Kaiser doesn't care about my or anyone's position. He considers information as valuable as blood and makes it a point to never share it for free. He only deals with people who have something to offer, but trust me. She picks up the flash drive and puts it in your palm. I have more than enough to grab his attention. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting, clearly done with the conversation. You pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody who stands out as a traveling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do here but figure out the right approach. I guess I can use Auspex, but I'm also kinda hungry. Let's do it. You take a moment to focus and try to pick up any details that would help you with locating Kaiser. Initially, the noise from the nearby amusement park floods your mind and momentarily stuns you. A child's crying, the loud bang of a car door closing, the bright old-school logo of the Cyclone roller coaster all overload your senses, and you have to lean on the nearby booth to stay upright. You regain control, start walking, listening in, taking in the sights and smells, looking for something, anything, to point you in the right direction. A man talking on his phone, a snippet of conversation. Cleared up the red stuff from the garage, tied it up in general. The limo will fit for sure. Come on, don't be like that, boss. I didn't mean to... Yes, I know, I am. It's a privilege, Mr. K, sir. The call ends. The man tucks the phone away. It's a fancy model. Doesn't look like anything available on the market, and doesn't fit the guy's rugged looks at all. He notices you. Hey, what you looking at, huh? You're just the guy I was looking for. Care to call your boss again for me? Huh? No, I think you heard wrong. Piss off. I guess I'm too hungry to use that? Or not hungry enough. I'm not quite sure, but I would rather say too hungry because I've already have the black screen. I mean the red outline of the blood around the screen. Well, I guess I have no choice but to choose this. Listen, man, I need to contact your boss and I need to do it now. Quit wasting my time or things will get unpleasant real soon. He doesn't take that well. He reaches into his pocket, produces a gun. You rush him. Bang. The bullet hits you in the arm and goes the other side. It hurts, but what would be a debilitating wound for a mortal is just a nasty scratch for you. It takes a bit of brawling. The man's stronger than you expect, but using your powers you are able to overcome him. With a few hits to the jaw, the man passes out from the pain. Searching for him, you find a fancy phone that doesn't look like anything readily available on the market. The phone's locked, but a recent smudge on the screen gives a rough idea of what the combination might be. You get it right on the second try. There's just one number in the phone book, unlabeled. You dial it and hear someone pick up. The voice is like rusty pitchfork scraping against gravel. Jackie, you're messing up my snuff session here. It's better be something big. I have something for you from Sophie. Langley, care to come pick it up? Silence, not even a sound. The call ends. You try calling again, but the number is blocked. Nothing to do but to wait if he shows up. Not 15 minutes pass before a black limo stops near where you're waiting. One door opens in invitation. Inside of a limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol, but currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different: surveillance camera footage, stock market quotas, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all of this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody here, or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered coach, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure it's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined. All sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. Suddenly, someone grabs you from behind, twists your arm, and pushes your head against the car's roof. I got them, boss. I have them. The Nosferatu chuckles. Oh, congratulations, dickwad. Could have done that before you gave them away the fucking phone. Just let them go already. To be honest, he doesn't look that bad either. Like, I guess his teeth are kind of terrifying, because they seem to be filed down to be pointy, like each of them. He definitely looks worse than D'Angelo looks, but I still wouldn't say he's particularly monstrous. But you're going to make me repeat myself, you thick motherfucker? He lets you go. You take a look at him. The man is confused and clearly hurting. He flashes you an angry stare, but obeys his boss's orders to the letter. What are you waiting for? A formal invitation? Get in the car. We have some talking to do. The doors close behind you. So, Langley, huh? I'm guessing you've got something for me then. You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port on the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happens to be turned away from you. It takes him a minute to access the data. Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago. He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust. Tell Sophie that the deal is off. She wants her address, she can give me something else. Okay, to be honest, both of those choices are kind of pointless to me, because to be honest, the best one is this: ask him how you can make it up to him. But I can't choose this, presumably because my hunger is either too high or too low. I would wager it's too high, and I can't act reasonable because of it, because I'm distracted. Because this threatening him, I don't think has any chance of working, because obviously he's much more powerful than I am, and much older, and much more influential, and I am just a random nobody. But the presence is probably also not going to work, because I'm a much weaker vampire than him, so I doubt my presence is going to work on him. But I guess let's at least try. Ask him to take the deal. You take one of your most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniacal monster. Come on, man, don't send me back with empty hand. Take the data and honor the deal. It would mean a lot to me. Like, this is awfully weak, actually. I was expecting something a lot more. This doesn't sound... Even if I wasn't a vampire, this would still be shit. As far as attempting to persuade someone goes. The sound that the Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. You're pretty sure he'd fall over and die at any second if it was anything other than that. Look at me, I'm so pretty and well spoken. I'm going to feed you all this bullshit and you're gonna cram it and ask for seconds. Yeah, I kind of agree with him. That was pointless and pretty pathetic. Who the fuck do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? I should mutilate your face and rub sulfur into the wounds, rip out your tongue out and use it to stuff a fucking turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus, I hate turkeys. They disgust me. So, I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address, so Langley can shove it up her cunt. But right now, unless you want me to get really pissed off, you'll show yourself out. You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past as soon as the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. Okay, I feel like this is a decent-ish enough moment to end the episode, so that's all for this one, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!